What's going on, y'all? What's the word? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button as y'all come on in here. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. We live and direct. I'm fresh off work, getting on live with y'all. Y'all know I work that night shift, right? So I'm fresh off work and wanting to discuss this Wallow, Wallow's comments regarding black businesses. I don't know who he was speaking to, if he was speaking to a group. I think he was speaking to black business owners, probably, or just black people in general. But he was recorded during his soliloquy, during his speech about black businesses, etc. And his speech has now been leaked to the public, right? And so, there's two sides to this coin. Kobe, what's going on, man? Mike Santana, what's the deal? Pickle, is everything kosher, Mike? Y'all getting on in here this morning, man. What's up with y'all, man? Y'all hit the like button for me as y'all come on in, man. I'm fresh off work with it. But we still finna get to it and get active. Kobe Hall, I think I seen you before in here. Are you new in here? I feel like I seen your name or responded to you at some point. Are you new in here? But yeah, man, what's up, y'all? What's going on, man? If you new, say what's up to me in chat. What's going on? What's going on, boss? How you feeling, man? Is it Shay? Shay, what's going on with you, man? Yeah, man. So I'm gonna let a few more people come in before I start going and talking and talking and talking. I just wanna, make sure we got a few people in here, because then, yeah, I'm about to say I know I felt like I seen you before. Yeah. Felt like I probably responded to you or something, because I know the name looked really familiar. You know what I'm saying? All right, we got 10 people in here. Trying to get a few more people in before we start having the conversation for real. I'm saying that I'm not going to say you shouldn't support them. Right. Okay, so that's the conversation. Say LVZ speaks high. I mean, I appreciate LVZ, man. I appreciate it, man. So I appreciated him getting on the live stream with me too that day, man. We had a fun time the other day, man, when we did that. We had a real fun time too, man. I had a lot of fun with that, man. For sure. I'm trying to see if I can get a few more people on, man. I know it's early in the morning. It's an odd time. But like, I try to get on early for my son get home and stuff like that. But he was right. I said the same thing. So look though. I feel two ways about this though. I feel two ways about this, right? It gets a little complex for me. And I'm gonna explain why. And it's regarding Gilly, Wallow, and a lot of things that Gil has said in the past. Not Wallow. Wallow hasn't said it, but Gil has said some things that I've looked at him very questionable regarding certain things he said about black businesses before. Because Gil has gone on these rants before a few times, more than once, publicly, and went to his Instagram to do it quite often. So, all right, what's going on, y'all? I think it's enough people in here. For those who don't know, Wallow, I'm assuming he was talking to black folks, black business owners, and he was basically saying, like, don't nobody care if you're a black business. Don't holler that you a black business thing out and think people just supposed to support you. That's the biggest hustle. Just saying you a black business and think you're gonna get support. He was like, what did he say? He said something about so many words, like, don't nobody care about that. Like, do you have good customer service? Is your food good? Yada yada yada. Then he starts talking about how, like, he ain't finna lie to nobody because he one of the top, he one of the top N words out here. He one of the most requested N words out here to get on, to be brought in and all of that and everything. And so, Khadijah, what's going on? Aaron Ford, what's the word? So here's my take on this. So, all right. Say what Wallo say. All right, hold on. I'm finna repeat it one more time. So basically, Cully, what's going on with you, Cully? Wallo was doing I don't know, I guess he was doing like he was talking to a group of, I think, black business owners or whatever. And somebody recorded him. Now, I don't know if this was somebody from his team or not. If this is from somebody from Wallow's team, then I have an issue with this. If this is from, I don't think it was somebody from Wallow's team. Now, ding, 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 ding. Now, Khadijah, delivery and tone matters, right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Delivery and tone matters in these situations. Wallo basically he was talking to black business owners, and he said, ain't nobody just gonna support you because you a black business. He said, hollering out you a black business. He was cussing too. I ain't heard Wallo. You say it was a business owner who attended what event was it? Khadijah, like, what, he was just doing a public speaking event, and a business owner asked the question. Am I understanding that right, Khadijah? He was doing a public speaking event, and a business owner asked that question about him, asked him that question. Said something Wallo put together. Okay, got you. And so he was saying basically, like, don't nobody owe it to support you because you a black business. Wallo was doing some cussing too. I ain't heard Wallo cuss like that now. I mean, I heard him curse, but he was real emphatic about it. Like, he was mad as hell that when he was saying this. If you a black business, ain't nobody just got to support you. Yelling out you a black business is one of the biggest hustles. Just yelling out you a black business and wanting people to support you. Is your customer service good? Is your food quality? Is it good? All of it, so on and so forth. People feel like you supposed to just support them because they are black. I'm a black business. I'm a black business. Then he starts talking about, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm one of the top dudes out here. I got this and I got that for a reason, and all of that. But he was mad as hell, Khadijah, wasn't he? So, okay, this is the issue. So, as a black man, I do agree that when I go to a black business, I do want you to have good customer service. I do want your product to be good. I agree with those sentiments, right? I want to shop with somebody who takes pride in their work, who is a person that has good community service. You still establishing a good rapport with your people. All of that, right? All that, I agree with that. But considering how I've seen Gilly come across with black businesses in the past, I'm scratching my head with this. Gil has publicly slandered black businesses over and over again, repeatedly. Wallo is Gilly's cousin. So, and Gil has he said a lot of anti-black things over the years, Gilly. I remember when Black Lives Matter movement first popped off, Gilly get on camera, and I got on Gilly ass about this. Gilly gets on camera and starts saying, they hollering out, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter this, Black Lives Matter that, right? And he was like, but did my Black Life Matter when I got shot in the street? When I got shot in the street, did my Black Life Matter then? And I'm like, Gil, you was out here in the street, dog. What are you talking about? You wasn't an innocent bystander. You out here playing in the streets, you gonna get popped, bro. What you talking about? I wasn't even in the street, and I know that. But Gilly has always come out to kind of make these stances against black folks at times, right? He's done that quite often, right? So then Gilly come out on his personal Instagram page before several times, not just once, several times denouncing black businesses. Y'all keep hollering out, support a black business, support a black business this, support a black business that. Man, when I get up in the establishment, motherfuckers don't even have shit right up in there. They don't even, they don't have nothing to write, they don't have nothing together. I ain't supporting no black business just because. Gilly likes to announce to the world over and over again how he not supporting no black business unless you got this together, that together, that together, that together, that together. That's what I have a problem with. Because Gil will never scream to the top of his lungs when he do business with them white folks and they don't got his stuff together. He'll never get on and do that. He'll never get on social media and do that. Therein lies the problem, okay? Because Gil, I'm looking at Wallow's words and I'm using hit by proxy. I'm wondering, are you on the same time as your cousin? Okay? Cause that's your cousin. You feel me? And I'm looking like, huh? You know, I hear your cousin do this a lot, Wallo. And I never seen him this mad, this furious talking about it. Because as Khadijah says, tone and delivery matters. Yes, I agree when I get business with a black business, when I'm shopping with a black business, I want great customer service. Yes, I want a great product. But it's just the way he was coming across, like he was pissed off about it. You feel me? So again, we're not gonna support you just because you're a black. I agree with that sentiment. But I'm wondering, like, what is Gilly? I can't help but to think how Gil has come off a lot of times. You feel me? And I'm wondering, are y'all on that same type of time? Especially with how emphatically he was saying it, you know? And so I'm like, things could be worded differently. There's a different way to say things. You feel me? There's a different way to say things. And the problem was that, so there are certain conversations that I feel like is for us. But when it comes to the public and how you talking and saying it flips upside down. It kind of goes hand in hand with that conversation about black people being community driven or individualistic, right? And y'all remember how when I said that, I said, there are a lot of non-black people who tell wealthy black folks, you ain't got to say them Negroes. You ain't got to say them. Just take care of yourself. And a lot of black people develop that mindset. You feel me? So they just take it and run with it. And then we allow ourselves to be individualistic while other people are community driven. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like though that conversation can come about with this. You say if white folks are okay with each other, bad service, cool. But I had to put food in the trash. I spend like that. Then they want to go off on you for simply telling them about it. Not for sure. Now, so it's a slippery slope with this conversation because I understand his point. I understand what he's saying for sure. But in certain conversations, I think when they happen publicly and it gets out there to the public, especially how emphatic he's saying it, it could come across as if like, almost in a sense, it could come across like F them black businesses a little bit. Especially when I know your cousin has confidently, like, Gilly has basically said F black in so many words. Gilly has said that before, several times. So, and I've praised Wallo for his ability to touch the youth and the way he speaks life in a lot of black youth and to try to deter them from negativity and try to deter them from destruction. And I appreciate that message a lot, especially coming from the city that I'm in, Chicago. But it's just like, it's a way you deliver certain things, a certain way you deliver things, right? I feel like, yeah, I'm not going to go to a black business that that is rude, obnoxious, and the service isn't good, the product isn't good. True, absolutely true. But I kind of feel like it's sometimes certain conversations are best had between us versus the world hearing certain conversations. You feel me? Because then sometimes I think certain conversations get flipped to, hey, don't support black businesses. You feel me? Don't support black businesses. The stuff gets flipped, you know. And I don't think Wallow and them, I don't think they recorded it. Somebody else recorded this. You know, somebody else recorded it. But I've seen Gilly post on his own social media page about how he ain't rocking with black businesses like that in so many words. Keep talking about how he ain't messing with the black business if they ain't got this, they ain't got that, they ain't got, and that's cool, right? He like, yo, every time I go to a black business, they this and they that. This ain't right, that ain't right. But I'm like, Gil, I'm sure you spend money with white businesses. And do you also critique those white businesses when stuff ain't right on their end? You feel me? When you doing business with certain people and the money ain't right, do you scream to the top of your lungs that the money wasn't right when you was messing with shopping with them? You know what I mean? And the reason why I think I'm looking at it from this lens, y'all, is I can't help but to think about who Gilly and Wallow have a deal with. They're signed to Barstool Sports, right? Now, listen, y'all get y'all money. But I know Dave Portnoy is a racist motherfucker. Dave Portnoy that owns Barstool, oh man. Oh man. Dave, when I know you signed to Dave Portnoy, you feel me? Y'all remember Gilly Diss? Richard Mills about the Barstool. Yeah. So like, I think when I'm looking, I think that's what's affecting all of this. When you know that, when in the back of your mind, when you in the back of your mind, you know you signed a Dave Portnoy, people gonna look at you. Optics matter, right? In things, optics matter. When people know you signed to under a person that's racist, it's gonna look bad when you talking like this. You feel me? You know what I mean? It's gonna look bad when you talking like this, when you signed under Dave Portnoy. So I think optics is what's also having this conversation. I think optics is having this conversation being taken a whole nother way. Optics and also the history of his cousin Gilly being off code a lot of time, because Gil has been off code with black people quite often, you know. And when you seeing how his cousin move, and when you seeing they signed a Dave Portnoy, combined with the message and how emphatic he was delivering it, how he was cussing like he was so mad, I ain't never seen Wallow do all this cussing. Now he's doing a lot of cussing, talking about how black businesses don't need to be serviced, that they get, you know. All those things come in conjunction with each other. Do I think Wallow is a bad person? No. Do I really think Wallow is against black folks thriving? No. I ain't gonna lie. I think Gilly got a lot of Gilly got some anti-black stuff in him though. He does, and he need to figure that out and address himself. But I think when you talk to black people, I think we gotta talk. It's a certain way we gotta talk to each other, and a lot of men think that tone doesn't matter. A lot of men, we're conditioned to think we can just say whatever the fuck we want to say. You see, I just cuss right there, and it don't matter. And that's our problem. That's why we got problems in our community. Because a lot of men think we can talk to other men how we want to talk to them. That's why we clash. But it matters how you deliver messages, how things come to you, how things come out your mouth to people. You feel me? It does. Some of y'all need to hit a hard shoot. Yeah, it's a certain way you word these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I've been mindful of for years. For years. So when I think Gil and them, Wallow and them gotta recognize when you got especially when your fan base is black folks built up $1 million worth of game. Black folks did. Black folks led them to, they went and they put in the groundwork, doing the podcast and getting all of that. You know, they did all of that, right? But black folks helped to build, they built up their community. He interviewed rappers and athletes. Black folks be in there building up, you know, their platform. So you got to be mindful how you talk to your people, even when you're giving them sound advice. It's a certain way you deliver certain messages. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel. Some people might feel differently, but I just feel like there's a certain way you're supposed to deliver messages sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to get certain things across. And I don't think Wallow got that message across in the way that I'm used to Wallow delivering messages to our youth, right? I've seen Wallow be able to deliver certain stuff to us. I've seen him be more, I've seen Wallow be softer when talking about people, black men unaliving each other in the street. I've seen Wallow have a softer approach with people unaliving each other in the street. I've seen Wallow talk to pure, hot-headed, like I'm talking about high-headed street dudes with less animus and less vitriol in his voice. You feel me? So yeah. Nah, Wallow, don't no. He talk nice to them boys from the block, King Tarantino. We can't do that. Cause Wallow talk nice to them boys from the block. I didn't see him talk nice to some dudes from my hometown, Chicago. Wallow knows how to talk, bro. Wallow knows how to come across to people. Wallow is way more couth. He's way like Gilly don't know how to talk to people. Wallow know how to talk to people. He expresses ideas in a nice way. He talking to Dave Portnoy, King Tarantino. Let's be for real. When he talking to Dave Portnoy, he know how to express some ideas in a nice way. I didn't see him talk to dude. Von reputation was crazy here. And I still see him talk to them boys in a nice way. So if he can talk to the savages in a nice way, he can talk to the other black folks that's being law-abiding citizens in the same way as well. Cause he know how to talk to them. He know how to talk to the savages now. He don't be hollering and rah-rah with them. You feel me? So, but in his debate, yeah, you got to come at street dudes differently. But you know what I mean? I feel like now granted, yes, messages fall on people's ears differently. I agree with that. Messages fall on people's ears differently, 100%. But I still don't know if that audience warranted him him going like that. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And rotten, I've had a spoiled fried shrimp before. Yeah, I just feel like it's a certain way you deliver certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain way you deliver certain messages. You feel me? And I think people are having a hard time with what Wallow said, due to how it came across, due to the fact it was recorded for non-black people to hear. And Wallow didn't record it, but you know what I'm saying? It got out there for non-black folks to take a peek in our spaces. You feel me? And I think sometimes certain messages are for black people when the world not listening, right? It's kind of like, y'all remember when I talked about Bill Cosby's pound cake speech? And I remember listening to that speech. I'm like 11 years old. And I couldn't figure out why I felt uncomfortable. Bill was in there talking about, you know, y'all black kids, black people, y'all naming y'all kids these crazy names. Y'all ain't raising y'all kids right. Tell these kids pull up their pants. Y'all get mad when somebody gets shot in the street for stealing a piece of cake. Well, he shouldn't have been stealing if he didn't want to get popped. If he didn't want to get shot for stealing a piece of cake, right? And Bill was saying this to an audience full of white people. And they was clapping it up for Bill as he's like basically labeling black folks as degenerates. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it was. I knew that Bill was saying this to a crowd full of white folks, and the white folks was the audience. Now, in Wallow defense, I mean, I knew Bill was doing that. Bill Cosby was saying that to a crowd full of white folks. In Wallow defense, I don't think the crowd was full of white folks, but due to it being recorded, you know, these conversations go to different communities. And I told y'all, different other communities encourage black folks to be individualistic. They encourage us not to shop with each other. They encourage us to just think about ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So that'd be the problem. And that's all I'm saying, John. Facts. You can still be cordial and chill without being condescending or sound. Yeah, I think it's tone and delivery matters with a lot of things. And again, but I think a lot of times we as men, we think we are exempt. We are exempt from these things. We can just talk how we want to talk. And in Chicago, that'd be the main problem. We think we can talk to people how we want to talk to people. Tone don't matter. It does matter. You feel me? It matters because they can fix their tone when they talking to street dudes. Why? Because you gotta talk to them a certain way, or a young boy gonna get that thing. You feel me? So you gotta watch how you talking to him. Because young boy gonna say, hey, calm that down. You know, he gonna address it. And I'm not advocating for violence at all within my people. Let me make that very clear. I'm not saying that's okay to do, but I'm saying we know how to control our tone when we have to, right? And so I think there are certain ways to say things, you feel me, without it coming across crazy like. And that's something I had to that I learned in my years of growing up here. Coming back and talking to kids and talking to people in general, is a certain way you deliver certain messages. You feel me? And I've never seen Wallow that mad before. Like, he was mad. You know what I'm saying? He was mad. I'm like, yo, you know, but Mike Santana said good point on that pound cake speech. Yeah, bro. Like, I bring this up quite often, Mike. That pound cake speech rubbed me the wrong way. You feel me? It rubbed me the wrong way because I knew Bill was delivering that speech to a crowd full of white folks, and they were just clapping it up while he just talking about nothing but black degeneracy. And I think certain conversations, people might think I'm tripping when I say this, and you can disagree. You feel me? But I think certain conversations are for us only. You know what I mean? Because all the white people are going to do is use what Bill's saying is, I told you there's a group of degenerates. Hey, even he's saying it. You guys have a degenerate culture. Your culture is degenerate, and they take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Hey, look. He say July Jackson said, "Seem like fear is really more powerful than love, because Wallow knows when to tone it down with them street and work." Now that's a fact, bro. You know, bro, July. I'm glad y'all on, man. In Chicago, I always used to say, fear ruled this city more than respect. You know what I'm saying? Fear did. Because a dude to watch how he talking to you, he'll pay your money back on time. He won't try to get at your old lady behind your back. He won't disrespect your kids if he know you will get on his ass. If he know it's something you will put something behind them little whatever you doing. You feel me? But if they know you a cool brother, they know you a gracious brother, they know you a humble dude with a humble spirit, they want to play with you here, you know? So that'd be the thing, man. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like I know Wallow can word things differently, because when he talking to them young boys that he know be active in the street, he approach them with a different way. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know tone can be controlled. You know, and I think sometimes tone and delivery matters when you're talking to your people. You know what I mean? Yeah, John, like Khadija say, yes, everybody don't need to see what we're talking about. Yeah, every certain things, I think some conversations are not for other communities at times because they will use it as like cannon fodder. You know what I'm saying? They will use it as cannon fodder. Like, okay, for example, I was going to get on here and talk about Nick Fuentes, and I'm going to do a whole live stream about that. Maybe tomorrow, right? I'm going to go see Sinners tomorrow, but yeah, probably maybe tomorrow. Nick Fuentes, well, I ain't going to go see Sinners tomorrow. I'm sorry, Friday. What's today? Wednesday? No, today Thursday. I'm tripping. Thursday. Duh. I'm going to go see Sinners tomorrow. But Nick Fuentes was basically telling Jason Whitlock he was a token. And he's a token that white folks use as validation that, hey, I'm not, when they say anti-black racist things, they point to Jason Whitlock to say, hey, he says it too. I can't be racist because one of your own says it. You know what I mean? And so we gotta watch what you're saying. Well, first of all, if you can't be talking like Jason, if you're talking anything like Jason Whitlock, you are not on code with black people. But I'm kind of just using him as a reference. Like, people use what he says as cannon fodder. Like, okay, well, black man is saying it. And they use his sentiments as a way to say, I'm not racist. One of your own even say this, you know? So, yeah. For example, yeah, like Shay, like Booker T. Man, that's a better example. Booker T saying, and I know Khadijah and Full of Southern Charm, y'all might not watch wrestling. I did a whole video and live stream about Booker T basically saying like it wasn't no racism in wrestling and all of that, right? And they will use Booker, and it obviously was. People will use Booker T, say, hey, yo, here's a respected guy from your community. He says it wasn't, he said, y'all need to stop talking about racism. You guys should stop talking about it because, hey, even Booker T said it. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, certain tone and certain stuff matters with certain things, you know? And so I think Wallow, in retrospect, probably can say, man, I could have had a different tone when I said that. I could have came across a little different when I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? I could have came across a little different when I was making my point. Yes, there are black businesses who don't who don't deliver on you know, the customer service, who don't deliver with their product and all of that. But it's a certain way to phrase that without kind of making it seem like you kind of pushing against the black businesses as a whole. Yeah. So the problem is that oftentimes people make generalizations about a population that over 40 million in the USA. So this is the problem. I have the watcher. Yes. Like black people, like when we have somebody that's operating, like if we have a somebody that's operating in bad taste, right? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Yeah, like so oftentimes what I was saying was that oftentimes, y'all, when somebody in our community does something bad, that's not the exception for us. That is like the standard now. For us, when somebody is moving off brand or does something bad, they label that as, oh, that's all black folk. That becomes the generalization for all black people. Like, I feel like other people, they get to operate, they don't operate with that. You know, if somebody in the white community do something bad, they don't get the label of, oh, look how white folks do. They don't have to deal with that type of thing. That becomes the standard for everything they do. You know what I'm saying? But for us, if we got one black business, or two, if we got 5 black businesses that's not doing what they're supposed to do, somehow, some way, all black businesses are trash. You know what I mean? When that's never the blanket for white-owned establishments, right? If 20 white establishments are not operating correctly, or they got some shady stuff going on, nobody say, man, all these white establishments is terrible. Don't nobody say that. You know, that's where the problem comes into play at right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got these stigmas that get placed on us as a whole when things happen from our end. And that is the problem. That's the problem. you know. But yeah, so that, and like I said, I don't think Wallow is a bad person. I don't think Wallow is a bad guy. I just think sometimes things could be worded a little differently and can come across a little differently when you're saying it. And I think that the optics were not good when he was saying that because this is a conversation that got leaked to the public. Conversation is meant that I guess was just meant for black folks to hear. They got leaked to the public. And then I think when you look at the optics of him working for Dave Portnoy, the fact that he works for Dave Portnoy, um, the fact that you know, Gilly has said a lot of anti-black things before. That label people looking at him funny because of the fact that his cousin has always spoken out against black businesses over and over again. So yeah. So unfortunately, a lot of us play into that stereotype, and even truthful are exactly the stereotype to a T. Yeah, you know, but the thing with that full of Southern charm is that there are a lot of other ethnicities that play into certain stereotypes, but those labels still aren't placed on them in the way that they're placed on us. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen some white people act in stereotypical, especially when I was in the South. I saw them act like in stereotypical fashion for certain things, and still had not had that label placed on them as a whole. You know, if you make a declaration that your business is black, it definitely should cater to black people. It's the opposite in our community. What you mean? You saying like black businesses cater to white people in our community? Is that what you're trying to say? And you say it's bad when Jason Whitlock and Candace Owens or whatever her name is come out saying all these terrible things about us and denying racism exists after she sued for racism. Facts. Facts. And that's why I tell people all the time, I'm not like I don't give all Candace Owens' praise to other people. Over the last few years, black people have been, giving Candace this praise. That Candace is, she's holding us accountable. And I keep telling people, what does holding us accountable in front of white folks, in front of an audience of anti-black white people, like white people that do not like black folks? What does holding us accountable in front of them do? They don't do nothing but give credence to their ideologies or their narrative that they're pushing, that black people are inherently more degenerate than any other group of people. I'm not gonna give you no applause, none whatsoever, because you holding us accountable when you got an audience full of people who don't give a damn about black people, who can't stand black folks. You know what I'm saying? Candace Owens has an audience of anti-black conservatives. So what is it that, like, what does her holding us accountable in front of them do, other than have these anti-black racists patting her on the back and saying, "Atta girl, Candace, atta girl, you tell those Negroes, you tell those N-words they're nothing but degenerates. You tell them they have nothing going for themselves. You tell them their culture is horrible. You tell them their culture is violent. You tell them their culture is ignorance. You tell them that they are shaped and formed in nothing but ignorance. And we will keep on applauding you because we say the same thing." So people would be surprised how many businesses are owned by black people, but they just don't promote that they own those businesses because they don't want to be stereotyped. Yeah, that's very true. You're right. I've seen businesses you like, dang, I didn't even know a black person owned this. Candace Owens also lies a lot and adopts positions of her audience for money. Oh, 100%, man. I mean, this is Isabella. I feel like, that grift is ever present on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I know so many grifters on YouTube, people who started off one way and then became anti-black, racist. Like I was like, the Cartier family started off just doing YouTube reactions to music. Then they grifted to alt-right, anti-black, conservative babble. Who else? The Hodge twins, No Life Shack, Stevie Knight, Grift. All these people are grifters who all they do is down talk black folks for revenue. For revenue, for for a huge audience, because as I always tell y'all, anti-black racists control YouTube. They do. So people will say anything, people will say stuff against black folks to gain the support of anti-black racists. You feel me? Candace goes back and forth with white people was paying her to talk about black people like a dog. It was all good, but their white people left her alone. Man, like for real. Like I said, the same thing. Yeah, like now let's talk about that long shot, Lark. And I'm gonna talk about Jason Whitlock in a minute. Yeah, Nick Fuentes, he started going in on Jason Whitlock, calling him a token, and Jason Whitlock was so nice to him, so soft spoken. I'm talking about, man, you could hear a rat piss on cotton over there from Jason Whitlock when he was addressing Nick Fuentes. He was so nice and so respectable, but anytime he going at a black man, oh, he is raking them through the coals. He's loud. He's disrespectful. He goes to the lowest of lows when he's talking about black men. Oh, man. Nick Fuentes, oh, he's so meek and mild with Nick. He's so nice to Nick. Like, I like, bro, what is you talk? What is we doing? You know what I'm saying? You know? Oh, Candace, I mean, y'all know I can't stand Charleston White at all. David Pearson said, bad business is bad business, no matter the color. It's the optics, like you said, and he wasn't doing much encouragement to do better, but playing up the stereotype. Yeah, like, especially after you tell me how much money you got. Hey, don't get to doing all that. Like, yeah, you know, the optics of everything that he got going on. Then get to talk about how much money you got and you the top N-word and all right, cool. You saying that to say what? Well, how was you being like you been getting all this? What does that got to do with big black businesses? You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be the thing. Olay's podcast. I don't know who is that. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Olay. My bad, y'all. My mom's calling me and stuff. I actually got to get off here in a few minutes because she coming up. Uh, you should get on Olay. Yeah, I ain't never heard of Olay's podcast, bro. If Wallo would have said black businesses run it with pride and professionalism, reasonable prices, black customers pay for the product at a full price on after the hookup, both respect and love. Yeah, there's a certain way I feel like to address certain topics, is all I'm saying. Uh, that's really all I'm saying when I present that, that talk. Oh, and NFL has some saying, oh yeah. So Stephen A used to always talk about the football player behavior, but when one of them owners in the NFL have some assault case drinking while driving, racist comments. Now that's a fact. I remember when Jerry Jones, when that picture of Jerry Jones surfaced out there during them riots trying to keep the schools segregated, you know what I'm saying? And Jerry Jones is in the crowd of people who was all for the school staying segregated. You know, Stephen A was tiptoeing around that topic with Jerry Jones. I remember that. And Ma was like, hold on now, Stephen A. Come on now. Come on. Don't be trying to make don't try to cover all these tracks and all this for Jerry Jones now. We ain't doing that. We is not doing that at all. You feel me? That's where the problem comes into play. 1,000%. 1,000%, man. But yeah, man. But look, y'all. I'm actually finna get off here real quick because I gotta go handle some business with my mama real quick. But I'm gonna be back on here. I'm gonna be back on here chopping it up with y'all. Give me really an hour and a half. I'm gonna be back on here, man. But I appreciate y'all getting on for right now. But I gotta talk about a lot of this stuff more in depthly for sure. But I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me and all of that. And then I'm gonna come back on. I gotta go make this run with my moms real quick. But I'm gonna holler at y'all. Say hi, mom. I'm gonna put my mama on here one day too. I'm gonna put my mama on here so y'all can talk to her, man. For real. But I'm gonna get up with y'all.